Hello, it is a great honor to share the work done to date with the Informs Analytics community. My name is Nesreen. I'm a PhD candidate at Martin Tuchman School of Management at NJIT. And the work presented today is done under the supervision of Dr. Jasmine Chang and Dr. Jim Shi from NJIT. So plastic has been introduced over the past 70 years, and it became a vital ingredient and component in almost all the products that we use across various industries. But at the same time, this had a negative impact on increasing the amount of plastic waste. And when we look at US, the recycling system is broken, like only 10%, less than 10% is recycled, and more than 70% end up in the landfill or leak to the environment. Especially after COVID-19, the amount of plastic waste even increased with the medical components and the masks, which is based on plastic. So the objective of this study is to examine the inclusion of BCT to revolutionize the recycling process in the US, and also to examine or to know how can we increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the amount of plastic waste collected. So from a literature perspective, the novelty of this study is that there is a shortage of publications that evaluate the plastic crisis from a technological perspective and the inclusion of Industry 4.0 technologies, specifically BCT. We find a saturation in the studies that cover the problem from a policies or law perspective. But at the same time, we find that the reports by non-for-profit organizations and industry are showing BCT as a promising technology to tackle the plastic crisis. In this capacity, the novelty of this study is to bridge the gap. On Scopus database, there are only 43 publications that has the word plastic and BCT. And this is considered 0% given the fact that there are around 12K publications that cover the BCT or have the word BCT listed. So for this research, we have three main questions. First, we would like to know, could BCT be used to revolutionize the recycling process and increase the amount of plastic collected? If yes, what are the roadblocks and the challenges and actions needed to enhance and increase the inclusion of BCT? And third, what will be the optimal value for the award or the tokenization to be provided to incentivize the public to collect plastic waste? The data for this study is based mainly, the main data set is collected from the US Department of State for the plastic waste in the US across the different states between year 2015 to 2020, in addition to other publicly available data sets which were used from these organizations listed here. So the research design is about proposing a mathematical model to examine the inclusion of BCT to streamline the recycling process in the US to tackle the plastic crisis. Why specifically this case? Because there is a shortage in the publications that cover the technological part and also propose a mathematical model to tackle the crisis, and building a simulation to examine what are the different scenarios and how can we deal with it, or how the government can act towards this. It's much more easier than having to go and collect data based on actual collection. So simulation would make things more easier to evaluate the different scenarios. For the descriptive and predictive part, we use Python to do the descriptive and predictive analytics. And then for this part upon which the poster is based, the prescriptive analytics part, we use MATLAB and Simulink. So, and the objective of this study is also to provide insights to policymakers and governors to set enforcement policy and to foster the inclusion of BCT to tackle the plastic crisis, because there are a lot of negative implications on health, pollution, the environment, and the animals, marine debris if we don't tackle this crisis urgently. So when we zoom here to our proposed model, so in this model here, we are we are considering the plastic ecosystem within a loop between the downstream, the individuals picking up plastic, either if they are specialized or dedicated cleaners set by the state to collect the plastic waste, or by using blockchain technology to incentivize the public to collect the plastic waste, for example, plastic bottles. Theta in this case refer to the amount of award that will be provided per person per item collected, and P of theta refers to the amount of plastic waste which will be collected by the public. And whether it's collected by public or dedicated collectors, it's going to go through cleaning, sorting, purification, and then we will have on this end a recycled plastic. At the same time, manufacturers are not going to rely solely on the recycled plastic because now it's less than 10%. So still there will be virgin plastic in addition to recycled plastic. But a constraint that we set for this model is that the amount of the recycled plastic needs to be more the amount of the virgin plastic. And then the manufacturers are going to go through their different processes, manufacture the products, and then based on the lifetime of a product, it's going to be in use. And once it reached the end of its lifetime, lambda represent the amount of plastic that reached the end of its lifetime, and then it's going to be disposed in this location. So in order to capture the significance goal from different stakeholders, we focus on the ESG, environment and social governance, where we would like to determine what will be the optimal value for theta in order to maximize the collection, the amount collected, and minimize the environmental damage, and minimize the government's cost, and increase social welfare. And definitely the amount of theta is going to change from one location to another based on the enforcement policy E that range between 0 and 1. Other insights or like some of the findings from up to date is that some of the roadblocks is that technology, the BCT technology is considered in infancy stage. Accordingly, there are few human resources who are familiar with the development, and accordingly, more training is needed. In addition to, from a user perspective, for the collectors, they are going to see this as an app, so they don't need to know anything about what is happening in the background. But we still need the people to be trained to develop the platform and to know how to manage this. In addition to some challenges related to the shortage of materials for tracking and tagging, BCT is considered an attractive solution due to its wide range of features, transparency, traceability to see who's collecting what and when, and to validate this, in addition to the benefiting from the feature of autonomous and high security. So hopefully in this time I gave you an overview. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and when you scan the QR code, you will be able to connect to or to access the PDF. Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to meeting you during the conference.